Good morning. Welcome to Morning Java, brought to you as always by our friends at the Get Go Cafe and Market, where even if you go there in the middle of the night, you can just drive right up, order on your Giant Eagle app, roll down the window, and they bring it right to you. Curbside delivery.
Yeah, we're doing this right after the Penguins game. It's after midnight. Perfect time for fried zucchini. That's their new thing. That's my favorite thing. Zucchini fries. They're unreal.
Mike Sullivan's favorite thing is when his team defends well and protects their goaltender, and then the goaltender in turn does his job. I can't help, Taylor, but look at this game too and think to myself that I don't know what Montreal's answer will be for this, because they don't have some great offensive team. Do you know what I mean? If the Penguins are going to defend like that, I don't know what their answer is for that, other than just getting a bunch of power plays. And even then, they've had power plays and not really done much with them, meaning the Canadiens.
Yeah, they did defend a lot better this game. If you look at just where the shots were coming from compared to last game, I mean, they really didn't let in many close shots at all, like close to Murray. That was a big part of it. Yeah, I don't know where they go from here. I mean, they are a fast team, but it's like only the forwards, and I don't know, like, because I mean it looks like the ice does break down by the time this 8 p.m. game rolls around. So I don't know if maybe that plays a part of it, because it's hard to play like a fast game like that if the ice is breaking down. And it's really only their forwards that have that kind of speed. They're not even fast all the way down the lineup.
Yeah, there were some weird things with the puck and the ice, but I would also argue that the two prettiest plays of the game, one by each team, were made on saucer passes that were actually, no, I take it back. Three of them. Jake's pass to Sid went a long way across the rink and made it right onto his blade. And then Sherry's excellent pass that saucered over to Zucker. But I'll also throw in a pass that Jonathan Drouin made to Yoel Armia. It was that Murray made, I thought, his best save of the game on a glove save. It was rather early. But
early in the game, or the one at the start of the third was a pretty big save too.
Yeah. But I'm talking about just from the standpoint of the ice. I don't know that the ice is. I mean, again, when we're not there to ask these guys, it's kind of hard to,
Well,
ice. Go ahead.
We have asked about the ice after the first game, and then practice on Sunday between the games. And I mean, they did said you can feel the ice breaking down towards the end of the period, because I mean, they're the third game of the day. The games are pretty close, and I mean, the one thing is that, I mean, so like the equipment isn't being stored in the arena; they're going back and forth. So the loading docks are open in the hot August weather for a good part of the day. So I mean, that is it is a factor. But I mean, they're both playing on the same ice, but I mean, some teams are better equipped for it than others, and I don't know if the Canadians are as equipped for it as the Penguins.
Yeah, I'm not seeing, more than anything, I guess what I'm not seeing from Montreal is skill. I'm not seeing plays made up front where you go, oh wow, that was a pretty talented play. That was something a little bit slick. And that shouldn't be a surprise. Drouin was that player like 3-4 years ago before something went, kerplooey in his head. Brendan Gallagher has more grit than he does skill. Thomas Tatar has skill. To me, Taylor, I thought he just vanished in this game. I thought he was at least visible in game one. I just don't know. My point is I don't know where Montreal finds an answer for this if the Penguins defend like this. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, well, you're saying you don't see slick plays. I mean, like you said, who's gonna be making those plays? I think it was like the first day of practice. Aston Reese was asked about Montreal's first line, and he wasn't trying to make a dig. He said, to be honest, I'm not sure who's on their first line, because when they're going over film, they're not numbering the lines or whatever. But
yeah, no, he wasn't being insulting.
No, he wasn't saying like, I don't know who Thomas Tatar is. He was saying like, I genuinely just don't know who's on the first line. And I mean, it's really not that notable. They do have a lot of young. They have young fast forwards, but I mean, the defense is slow. Like they don't really have any skilled guys on like skilled guys to make those plays on defense. I mean, the strategy from the defenseman is to just get rid of the puck quick and then join the rush late because they don't have the speed to keep up with the play.
Their most talented player at any position is their goaltender.
Yeah.
One key to this series and really beyond is going to be depth for the Penguins. And we know that they're a deep team because they are scratching Sam Lafferty and Evan Rodriguez, who were arguably two of their better performers in this camp and in the exhibition games. So we know that they're deep in that sense, but we don't know is whether or not they're deep in the performing with the guys they're sending out there right now sense. Do you know what I'm saying? What are you seeing from either the third or the fourth lines that gives you confidence or lack of confidence or whatever moving forward here?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the greatest improved players from last game were the fourth line because, I mean, look at the fourth line from game one. I mean, Aston Reese really wasn't that good at all. Blueger was like nowhere to be seen, and I mean, and then Tanev, the things that make him Tanev, the hitting and just the energy, it just wasn't there. We did see that energy from Tanev in game two. I mean, the line as a whole looked better, and then I mean, Blueger. I mean, he was out there to win the face-off to score the empty netter. I mean, that was one of the biggest moments of the game because I mean, it was a close game.
And Letang decided. He's talking about after Letang decided to ice it.
Well, how many times did they ice the puck? Yeah, no, but I mean, they missed the open net like 3 times. But then, I mean, Blueger's out there. He had to win that draw, and then of course, get it to Gensel. Scores the empty netter to steal. But I just thought, the fourth line that's an encouraging sign moving forward to see that they were a lot better than they were last game. Because
What about the third? What did you see?
I think the third line really wasn't good at all in game one either. Just thinking the third line. Marlowe had the lowest the lowest 5-on-5 time of any forward in game one. You can't really be sheltering the third line, and then I thought together they looked a lot better this game, and McCann had a nice move. Was in the third to he almost set up a goal, and then
down low to Marlowe. It was a good play. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. And then I mean, Hornqvist looked good on the power play too.
But that's not what we're talking about. Yeah.
Well, no, it does. No, it doesn't. But I mean, like those players, because
waking up
Marlowe,
a little bit. Yeah.
Marlowe seemed like a liability maybe at times in game one. I mean, you look at when the Canadians got the penalty shot in overtime, it was Johnson's fault directly. He held Drouin, but I mean, the reason that he got the breakaway is because Marlowe just got like lost.
He got torched.
And he got spun around. So I mean, we didn't see any of that. So I mean, the bottom six. I mean, both lines looked better. I mean,
they were better than game one. I guess my problem taking these in order with my problem with the fourth line. I agree with you that Aston Reese. I thought he had a very solid game and that he needed to have one. These guys need to start feeling. They need to start feeling Lafferty and or Rodriguez on their back. They need to have that in their heads about how well those guys performed. Teddy was there. I'm still waiting for the best version of Brandon Tanev. We haven't seen that yet. I'll say this about that third line, and I think you and I discussed this way back in the early portions of camp. Correct me if I'm wrong. What are they supposed to be? Like that's you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what they would look like, Taylor, if they were at their best. I don't know what that looks like. What is that line supposed to be?
Yeah, I mean, because what I brought that up on our last Facebook live stream that, I mean, you look at the other lines and the way they're constructed because like they have identities and they're constructed because they fit well together. The third line is just the leftover guys that
the leftover guys. That's right. Yeah.
No,
Island of Misfit Toys. Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone else has a spot. Zucker fit well with the second line. You're not going to play Sherry anywhere other than the first line, and you're not going to break up Aston Reese, Blugger, Tanev, so then you're left with Marlowe, McCann, Hornquist. So, I mean, you just kind of have to play together, even though McCann probably not best suited at center. Just, I don't know if he's as good defensively as a center should be. And, I mean, and then does he really have the best chemistry with Marlowe, Hornquist? Is that really the combination that works best together? I don't know. It's just it's their only option, unless you take one of those guys out. But I mean, I don't. If this is the play, if these are the players that are going to play, I mean, that just has to be your third line.
It feels like insulting people to say something good about John Marino. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like saying the Beatles had a couple of hits. Like, I mean, all he does out there is excel. He's on the puck. He's on the body the moment someone crosses the Pittsburgh blue line, and then he engulfs them like some CGI character, gets the puck away and takes the play the other direction. And the only thing that bothers me about that, Taylor, is that I feel like as a result, Marcus Pettersson isn't going to get his due for how well he's playing alongside Marino. You know what I'm saying? What have you seen from that second pairing? And are they arguably even at times 5-on-5 the Penguins' best defensive pairing?
I think consistent. Like if you look at these first two games together as a whole, I mean, has Marino not been their best defenseman overall in these?
He might be their best player, other than Sid. He might be their best player.
I mean, he's done better than Letang, Dumoulin. If you look at some of the mistakes they've made through these first two games, I mean, Marino has definitely been their best defenseman. I mean, you look back to game one, just because, I mean, you're talking about what he's been doing defensively, but I mean, offensively too, he set up Rust for the tying goal that game. He like single-handedly carried the puck up the ice and got it to Rust. I mean, he's been good on both sides of the puck. I don't think Pettersson maybe a little bit streakier today. Sometimes he just looked. I don't know if it looked like he couldn't catch up, or just the pace, or I don't know. I don't think Marino's been the better one.
That's what I mean. When you pair those guys, when you pair those guys, and someone is dominating the way Marino is, it's the other guy is not going to get the credit they deserve, and they're also not going to get the notice that they deserve. It's a good situation, I would say, for Mike Sullivan and for Jacques Martin to have a second pairing that's pretty much, I think, 5-on-5, outplaying the first pairing. And again, I don't think the first pairing has been terrible either. But as long as we're on the subject, as long as we're on the subject of the pairings, why not bring up the third one? Because the third one did have a really rough game one. And honestly, I don't know that even Jack Johnson's most vicious haters could have looked at this game and thought that Jack was lousy. They just seemed like they all played pretty well together. They all defended really hard, and Montreal didn't get much going.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't notice Jack Johnson and
right.
They're that pairing a whole lot, which is a good thing. I mean, that's how I felt during training camp too. That I really didn't notice that pairing a whole lot, which is fine. Like that's probably a good thing when you're not pairing. Yeah, I mean, they had a kind of a rough game one, but yeah, I thought they looked better here. I mean, and the first pairing, they've just had both of them have had a couple moments that are small but stand out. I mean, like Letang, it's not with that pairing, but I mean flubbing on the power play shot. That stands out. Dumoulin, game one when he got stuck on that pinch and it led to the second goal. The second goal from
the Suzuki goal,
Yeah, he got stuck pinching, and then it was a 2-on-1 on Letang. And there wasn't a whole lot Letang could have done, but I mean, it was Dumoulin's fault. Yeah, I mean, the defense doesn't look perfect, but I mean, Marino pretty much has.
Last thing, any changes at all for game 3?
I don't see why you would need to after this. I don't see what you would do. I don't see what you would break up, who you would bring in.
I still want it, Taylor. I still want to find a way to get Rodriguez and Lafferty in there, and I almost don't care at whose expense. because
scratch what McCann and
I
Morrow, 'cause
know.
that's what you
Look,
would have to do.
I know that is what you'd have to do, but I'm also thinking about this from more than the Montreal standpoint. Penguins are going to have to attack and sustain an attack. Not so much against Montreal, but against other teams that they'll face along the way. They're going to have more attack zone time, and they're not going to get that with that third line. They're just not. That thing is not going to work. And I've been saying that forever. I'd love to be wrong. It'd be great, but I don't know that it'll happen. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm decently confident that they'll make it out of this series now.
Yeah.
It was probably before this game, but moving forward, I don't know that this lineup has it in them to make a deep run. And I think if you could make those changes to the third line would at least have an identity, and they would be like a real good energy third line.
Exactly. You'd know who they were and why they were out there. Exactly.
And would Patrick Marleau be watching from the press box? I mean, that's just tough to imagine.